Joining me now is Tobias Wolff, law professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Mr. Wolff was also chief advisor to the Obama presidential campaign on LGBT issues. Mr. Wolff, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the Obama administration. The president finds himself in an interesting sort of bind here. He has officially stated on the record that he's against DOMA. His representatives in federal court argued for DOMA in this case. What do you see as being the decision procedure in deciding whether or not to appeal here?
Well, it's going to be difficult for them not to appeal. And this administration is frankly has been put in a rotten position with respect to this statute. On the one hand, the president doesn't just oppose the Defense of Marriage Act. He has announced as a priority of his administration 3 times on live TV from the White House that he wants Congress to repeal this statute. It's a discriminatory statute. He's been saying that for years, and he wants to get rid of it. That commitment runs up against another very important principle, which is the obligation of the Justice Department to defend statutes that are already on the books if they think that there's a reasonable argument they can make. And reasonable minds can disagree about what their obligations were in this case, but I think it was not an unreasonable decision on their part to say we've got to mount a defense to this statute. So when the question comes, are they going to appeal this case, they're kind of faced with the same dilemma. Now, I will say this. There was a press conference earlier today that I was able to sit in on by telephone, and the lawyers for the DOMA plaintiffs actually said the same thing. They said it would be difficult for the federal government not to appeal at this point. But the more judicial decisions that we get like today's, which help to establish in the courts the principle that anti-gay discrimination and discrimination against relationships of gay couples is unconstitutional and impermissible, the more ammunition it will give the the Justice Department to perhaps take a second look at that question.
Let's talk about the next steps. I mean, this will likely get appealed.
Yeah.
It seems to me, and I'm an amateur in this department, that it's going to end up in the Supreme Court. It's that kind of case, I would imagine. Is that what you foresee? And could we be faced with a fascinating situation in which Elena Kagan is sitting in on the court on exactly this case?
Well, certainly the next stage is that the case goes to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. And if the plaintiffs win before the First Circuit, so the First Circuit strikes down the statute, I think it's quite likely that the court will decide it has to take the case. But, you know, in figuring out what the implications are of this case, it's important to keep in mind what it does and doesn't decide. And I want to clarify one thing that you said at the top of the show.
Sure, please.
This isn't a case about the constitutionality of excluding gay couples from marriage. Nothing in this case has to do with whether states have to let gay couples get married. What this is about is where you've got states, currently 5 states plus the District of Columbia, that let gay couples get married. Can the federal government treat their marriages differently from everybody else's marriages? And I'll tell you honestly, you know, whatever the court's approach to the marriage question is going to be, if they ever are called upon to decide it, this is a question that seems much harder to defend, right? That you've got couples that are married under state law. This goes back to part of what Attorney General Coakley was saying. And the federal government is requiring discrimination and interfering with the state's own decision about the couples that they want to see getting married. So I don't think that we should make any quick assumptions about how this court would decide the case. And, of course, there are federalism issues in this case, too.
Tobias Wolff, law professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for joining me on set.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
You bet.